Alright, so after a quick little rain shower, we can get back to today's project, which is the exhaust manifold or exhaust box for the Bessemer engine. Here's the original. Rough shape, a little bit, but no problem, because we're going to make a new one from scratch here. Basically, I'll show you this, what it looks like on the engine. It's a big broken out section. There would have been of, I don't know for sure, but I'm going to guesstimate a 2-inch NPT threaded hole right here where you'd have an exhaust stack with a muffler on top. Completely broken out. Now, it's not out of the question to take this out to a foundry out in Lancaster. It's called Cattail Foundry, and they would cast a new one of these up for me. I would have to kind of mold what I would visualize this would look like so that they could then make a pattern of this part and recast one for me. But instead of doing that and having to drive all the way out to Lancaster and all that stuff, I figured it would just be easier for me to make one from scratch. And here's the rain coming back a little bit again. Anyway, so I got my hole cut there, which is that. This is where my 2-inch NPT is going to be. For that, I just got a coupling that I cut in half, and that's gonna sit in there all the way like that, and be welded in so that I can thread the exhaust pipe onto it. And I've got the rest of the box, the rest of the pieces already cut, so now I'm just going to weld it together. Let me show you what this looks like on the engine. Alright, well, here's a shot of the exhaust port on the engine, the cylinder, and you know, you can see it's pretty simple, just bolts right on there, and you would have a exhaust stack to come up. So we're going to replace that. Now you notice that dimensions are a little bit larger on this box, the one that I'm making. Let's see, a bit larger. I'm alright with that. It looks, you know, squarish and ugly right now, but once I weld all these seams, I'm going to shape them down so they have this rounded look to them, so it should be alright. But we'll come back when I'm a little bit farther in the project. Alright, well, it's the next day, and I figured I'd wait until today because it was getting a little bit dark last night by the time I was finished this. But here it is, the Bessemer Exhaust manifold box. Got my 2-inch NPT there, welded in. This would be the inlet port, obviously. Through bolt holes. The only thing I didn't do yet, which I'm not entirely sure that I'm going to do, but I probably will, is I'm going to drill and tap a 1/4-inch NPT in the bottom here for a plug, just so, you know, being a 2-stroke, the Bessemer is a 2-stroke, might have some oil or sludge build up in this box over the course of a few years. And it'd be nice to be able to drain it, maybe in the corner here or something. So, but I can do that later if it becomes necessary. So the job now is to take the grinder and round off all these edges where the weld is. Kind of try to eliminate the look of the weld and to make it look like one kind of rounded piece instead of 6. So that's the job, and I'll let you know when I'm done. Another thing, I had a couple questions when I, the last time I did a little bit of welding, which was on the base of the Bessemer and making that oil disc. Just what kind of welder I have, and what it is it's a Hobart Handler 140 is the model. it's a light duty machine. It's a regular 110 volt input, 120 volt input, single phase. Recommends a 20 amp branch circuit for it, 20 amp circuit. But I'm just running it off of a regular outlet that I've got in the garage, and it lays down some pretty nice welds. It really, I'm really impressed with it. I bought it used off of Craigslist, and used but in good condition, and it really lays down some nice welds. They do come out really well, really steady arc. Any imperfections in the welds I attribute to me, with a shaky hand or some rust on the wire. I am using cheap wire, I'll say that, cheap mild steel wire. But these welds do come out nice. So if you're looking for a welder, I would definitely recommend that Hobart 140. For a small household, current type welder. So, alright, let me get to work here. Alright, we're finished up with the Bessemer Exhaust Box here. I think it looks really nice. I just gave it a shot of paint there. You can still see some of the weld marks there, but I think that looks alright. It gives a little bit of depth, a little bit of character. So you can see the everything rounded out really well. Kind of tried to clean up the weld around the pipe a little bit, but I didn't end up putting a plug in. I can always do that later if I find it's necessary. And got a little pipe on for the exhaust for now until I get a muffler on. I might leave it open like that depending on how loud this engine is. I imagine it's going to have a little bit of a bark, especially if I put it under load. So might end up going with the muffler. So next up is going to be the fuel system. Got the governor arm here. Over on the bench I've got the mixer body. Got the little orifices for the what would have been natural gas. I'm going to be using propane. Got the atmospheric intake valve. This is a plunger and body for the fuel valve, gas valve. That's varied by the governor arm, and this little hand wheel is just kind of a throttle control or a governor control to set the different governor speeds. Take care of that, and then cooling tank, which plans are to use this helium bottle for balloons. Use that as a cooling tank. I'm thinking it's going to sit right about here. Make a bracket for that. Originally this would have had a much larger tank, but for short runs, an hour long or so under light load. Well, shouldn't even say that. Most of my engines will run for 4 hours at a time at a show. We'll see. Once it gets running, we'll see how much heat it really throws off. Got the Widdy over here with a smaller version of that tank. This one's about half the volume, and I can let this Widdy run for hours, and the water never gets past just the steam. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes, but that's where we're at right now with the Bessemer.